So I actually am going to be doing a review to the Baddies ATL reunion. Even though it was very unfortunate for me to watch, I did watch the Baddies ATL show. I just didn't do reviews on it. I had planned to make a couple of videos on it, but they always kind of fell through. But since I've been covering a lot of the Baddies ATL drama, I just figured I'd do a review on the reunion. So all the ladies come out, they all look nice. Besides Natalie. Natalie is very dressed down for the reunion. And very quick into the reunion, they do start talking about the audios that Sarah had leaked on Instagram. The day that they filmed the reunion and then the day before that they filmed the reunion. Sarah had released a lot of receipts about Natalie talking about the girls. And that's all up on my page, so you guys can go check that out. Tamar and Jason do ask Natalie if she's going to own up or give an apology. And Natalie says that she wants to give an apology, but then ends up giving no apology. Natalie just ended up deflecting and asking if her feelings get hurt. And I'm glad that Tamar was being really relentless about Natalie giving a BS apology, and she kept calling Natalie out for her ways. They asked Natalie about the girl's feelings, and Natalie just turned it into herself and started talking about her own feelings, when that's not what they were talking about at the moment. Christina gave her thoughts and said that she would respect Natalie more if Natalie just stuck by what she said in the audio. She says that Natalie belittles people and airs out everybody else's business, but Natalie isn't open about her own tea. Drunk Judy interrupts by drinking Jason's drink. This kind of makes him upset, and he talks about COVID and said that he just doesn't want anybody drinking his drink, and he gets pretty upset with Judy. Seven then speaks on the audios and says that Natalie should have never spoke about her son, and she said that she never speaks about Natalie's daughter, so kids shouldn't be brought into it. And I feel like for some reason Natalie was acting super friendly, so thus far with the girls, she does not play at all, and she was being stern with how she was talking, and I think that Natalie can sense that. For some reason during the reunion, Natalie was very calm. I do think that she was scared. In the house, she was all big and bold, running her mouth, she never stopped. Always in people's faces, screaming, throwing drinks in vans, etc. But now at the reunion, since the audios were leaked, she's all calm. Also, Natalie wouldn't even answer any of the hard-hitting questions head on. She would just be like, okay, so to answer your question, and then try to give some story, instead of just giving yes or no or getting straight to the point. Judy says that she's not transphobic, followed up by saying multiple times that she's bisexual, implying that she's not transphobic because she's bisexual. But I just have to say, just because you're bisexual, it doesn't mean you can't be transphobic. Judy was saying very transphobic remarks, therefore people called her transphobic. She can't be mad, people are calling her out for what she said. Thus far, the reunion does get a little frustrating. Nobody's really letting each other speak, so it's kind of hard to hear when people are talking over each other. At one point during the reunion, when Tamar kept talking about the audios, Natalie says, "Are we only going to talk about the audios?" I just feel like during the reunion, Natalie was visibly upset that Tamar and Jason kept bringing up the audios and bringing up things that Sarah was saying. I feel like one, because they make her look bad, and two, they get people to talk about it and call Natalie out in front of her face. And I feel like at this reunion, she kind of just has her head down, her tail between her legs. Sydney at one point decides to run up on Judy and throw cereal on her. I thought she was doing completely too much. It was very corny to me, and I just didn't agree with it. But on another note, I'm very glad that Tamar and Jason wouldn't really let the girls talk in circles, and if they did, they would kind of re-ask them the question to reassure that they answered it. And I do feel like it made the girls a little upset, but they were being good interviewers and not letting them dance around. During Jason trying to talk to Sydney about Judy's transphobia, Judy starts screaming, "What about me?" but very emotionally, which I did think was funny. But I don't like that every time Judy gets called out for something problematic, she starts to play victim, and then she starts to say protect black women. But Sydney is a black trans woman. Nobody is coming at Judy for being black or having black features or anything of that nature. No, I don't think that's right that Sydney keeps coming for her and making a lot of comments about her body and body shaming Judy and saying a bunch of ridiculous things. Just because somebody's being ridiculous doesn't mean that you can say problematic things to them and then play victim when people call you out on what you said was being problematic. Judy may not be transphobic, but she was saying a lot of transphobic remarks. Sydney and Judy have the BGC conversation again, and then Sydney at one point pulls out a before picture of Janelle, implying that Janelle was ugly before. This is very common for Sydney. I don't know why she always speaks on people's bodies so much. She comes at Janelle's body for being fake, when Sydney herself has a fake body and has before pictures. She comes at Judy, who has a natural body. I just feel like Sydney's very insecure with her own body. So I think she's just projecting all her insecurities on the other girls. Tamar gets mad at Sydney after the whole picture thing, and Tamar decides to storm off and say what's going on with her career, etc. But my other note I have right here is, because Sydney is trans, why does she have to be some outstanding spokesperson for the trans community? Why can't she just be trans? Yes, she is a part of the trans community, and yes, she does talk about it, but that does not mean that she's a spokesperson for all trans women and men. Overall, the reunion was kind of boring. Next week does look a little bit better. They talk about Natalie and Janelle's alleged escorting. They bring Megan out on stage, which I'm excited to see. It looks like Christina and Natalie are going to get into some sort of argument. And I'm excited because I love when Christina goes off on people. I think it's hilarious. Natalie gets in Judy's face, which I think is interesting because I guarantee she's not getting in a lot of the other girls' faces like that. And they also showed us a snippet of what looks like Tamar and Meg and James getting into a little back and forth. So I'm excited to see what that's about. This reunion was definitely pretty dry. So if you didn't watch it, you're not really missing anything.